Hey there everyone, I'm Lagunatic, and I've just played through Boomer Beyond Vanilla for the 5th time. There have been some great WADs released as of late, most notably one about a gorgeous piece of real estate that's said to be bigger than it looks. But out of all the ones I've played, none have managed to pull me in for more Doom action quite like this. It checks off every one of my personal boxes for what makes a vanilla-based WAD great. Detailed level design, balanced gameplay, interesting encounters, excellent MIDI. Created solely by Fernito with the most updated version released on June 24th, 2023. Boomer Beyond Vanilla is a 9-map episode, some caveats there, for limit-removing source ports with a development time of over 2 years. And believe me, it shows. It is designed for both single-player and co-op, though we will only be looking at single-player. Set at comp level 2 with vanilla settings. No jumping, no crouching, or free look.
Pure vanilla.
Now, while it can be played in GZDoom, it isn't recommended. Play it in Crispy Doom or PR Boom, but the best way is going to be through DSDA-DOOM, which is what Fernito recommends. I made one run in GZDoom as a test and I did get screwed out of a secret on map 4, so just use DSDA-DOOM. It's a great source port anyway and beginning to be my favorite. All MIDI was created by Fernito with some assistance from Enzo Cabrera. All except one track, which is an original piece created by the one and only Lee Jackson of Rise of the Triad and Duke 3D fame. And spoiler, Lee's contribution isn't even my favorite of the WAD. That's how good Fernito's tracks are. Alright, but with all of that out of the way, let's boot up Boomer Beyond Vanilla. Loading in, we are greeted with this badass custom title screen created by, and sorry if I butcher this, Bo Hernu, who also created the artwork for the 2022 Cacowards, depicting Doom Guy with that Dio energy. Seriously, go check out their Instagram. It is full of excellent, detailed pixel art. The logo was created by Rock O and really captures that old school Doom feel. Fernito also gives you a taste of his music composition chops with his headbanging opening track Slam to help get you in the Doom mood. For all of my playthroughs, I set difficulty to ultra violence and pistol started every map. Now, let's do this. What is it about the opening of this map that makes it so good? Is it the early showcase of Fernito's use of lighting? Maybe the details in the architecture? Or perhaps it's the introduction of these small switches hidden inside the classic computer texture, of which you will see used many times throughout the WAD, so always skim over these if you see them. You begin the WAD within a tech facility seemingly built within a rocky landscape, most of which takes place inside, though there is a brief but necessary detour outside for a blue key card. At the center is a hub surrounded by water, wherein you will return a couple of times to explore new areas of the base. Throughout the level, you will traverse through tech corridors, all showcasing Fernito's ability to apply detail wherever possible. Small embedded computer screens are the most prevalent, snugly fit within the wall's applied texture. If you've ever opened up a map editor, you will know doing so many of all these little touches takes time, and the amount of detailing just gets more ridiculous as each level comes. He also applies the same attention to detail with his outdoor scenes, creating rocky hills well past the player's reach, another feature that will grow in scope as the levels progress. Back to Basics also introduces you to Fernito's blend of secrets by hiding switch textures within other textures. The first is easy enough, just spot this more obvious red square in the corner of this pillar to reveal a batch of health bonuses. The next I missed in my first run, a skull switch hidden within a computer panel revealing a backpack. There is also a third, but I can't give away everything, especially the best secret of the map. All I'll say is be sure to use your ears. I will be posting my 100% ultraviolence playthroughs with commentary after this has gone live, so you can always watch those to help guide you. Fernito's opening map is also a wonderful example of limitation. For a starting map of this size, a lot of modern mappers would probably see fit to use mid-tier enemies more than they should. However, Back to Basics holds back and stays true to its name by keeping the fodder enemy count thick, and the mid-tier is significantly controlled. Outside of a single Arachnotron and a small batch of Revenants, Hell Knights, and Flying Tomatoes, this map truly embodies the spirit of a starting map. To accompany this limitation, Fernito also applied that philosophy to the weapons. You won't find a chain gun or SSG here. Those chain gunners just outside look tempting, but their dropped weapon manages to be just out of your reach. Only your pistol and shotgun will be used. There is, however, a secret rocket launcher hidden somewhere in the map, so maybe you should try finding it. The music track accompanying you through the map is titled Energia, a solid synth hard rock piece that serves to get you in the killing mood. But compared to the other tracks that are to come, this ranks somewhere at the bottom for me personally, which is not to say this track is bad. Far from it. I still find myself humming it while I'm at work. So if this is one of my least favorites, what are the other tracks going to be like? Overall, Back to Basics serves as an excellent introduction to Boomer Beyond Vanilla. Sprinklings of something grander for you to discover as you exit the map and enter. And if you read the caption under the title, you will see the map is unapologetically brownish with an extra L. And while I can say the motif is certainly of the brownish variety, I actually found it to be quite under control. You start by dropping down into a courtyard playing host to a small group of fodder enemies. At the center are 3 overlooks, all sealed off and in need of keys, except the one you'll need to open with a switch. Throughout this level, you will traverse through dark corridors, hazardous pits, a rocky valley, and dangerous caverns. Fernito begins to flex his level design chops here, and this is just the start of it. Within this infested base, you'll find more of Fernito's knack for intricate details. This exterior area has a makeshift path through the acid made of perfectly sized step textures. Also, always look behind switches if you can. You never know what might be hiding there. In the valley at the center beneath these tall archways is a cute campfire. A flame barrel recessed into the ground with star-tan textured wood is nothing never seen before, but it just really ties the pathway together in my opinion. But more than anything, I encourage you to look closer at the level architecture and admire some of the detailing Fernito has pulled off. The walls, floor, and ceiling all have fine layering to give off more the visualization of being underground. It isn't good enough that he simply uses rock textures, but also contours and constructs everything as though it is made of rock and gravel. Impressive work that certainly took time to accomplish. And, as I've stated before, this isn't even the best of it. Training Grounds holds a total of 5 secrets, and we haven't quite reached obscure levels yet, though one did give me a little trouble to find. Some are simply hidden behind something, but my favorite would have to be taking this lift up, hopping over to the wall edge, and light stepping to the end. There is a small hatch sealed here, but simply gaze across the courtyard and you will see a shootable switch. Fire, activate the new switch behind the now open hatch, then grab the soul sphere that was previously inaccessible. It's engaging secrets like this one that put a smile on my face. It isn't necessarily hard, but it does require the player to take a bit more action in solving it. There is also an early secret you can find that will grant you a chain gun, but I encourage you to find it yourself. Just be sure to not overlook any metallic columns. Of course, Map 2 increases the monster count and brings it up to nearly 300. No worries though, most of that is just more imps, zombies, and pinkies. However, mid-tier enemies are now starting to populate the area with Hell Knights, Revenants, and Flying Tomatoes around some corners. You'll also be greeted by a couple meatballs, so steel yourself for the inevitable Lost Soul cleanup. There is also the solitary Mancubus guarding the exit, so make friends with him if you can. And with the new variety of monsters, Fernito doesn't give you the power weapons just yet. You will be using the shotgun and chain gun for most of this level, unless you remember to retrieve the SSG after collecting both keys. I, for some reason, had trouble remembering to do this, but even without the SSG, I still managed to get through this map comfortably. Amidst all the carnage plays a nice Latin rock tune, created by the one and only Lee Jackson. And it may be surprising to you, but this is my least favorite track of the WAD. Which again, is not to say it is bad, but Fernito really pulls out some absolute bangers immediately following this map. But as it is, I think this was the best track to place at the Map 2 slot. It kinda reminds me of Doom 2 opening with Running from Evil, then into the Healer Stalks. Training Grounds, much like Back to Basics, succeeds in its mission statement. If Back to Basics was the introduction, then Training Grounds certainly brings you up to speed for more of what to expect. It's not quite yet hard, but it's now presenting some slightly hairy situations. This, to me, is where Boomer takes off its training wheels. Fernito introduced and displayed secrets and quirks of his gameplay with Back to Basics, and detailing a design with Training Grounds. You are now ready. Here is Zombied, or Hit Scanned, as it says at level start. You begin inside a tech base packed full of zombies, but soon the walls will come down to reveal you are only within a tiny portion of the map. You'll explore the depths of this facility, as well as traverse wet, rocky landscapes alongside it. All leading up to a dark cavern with a leap of faith to end the experience. Fernito is no longer playing around here. This is the start of his deeply impressive eye for scale and details. And somehow, this still isn't the most impressive level in this WAD. I could talk at length regarding the layout of the watery canyon, or the overall construction of the facility, but these two scenes are even better in the levels that follow. However, I do want to place focus on the entirety of the blue key room. Intricately detailed and claustrophobic, the space here seems to have two stories to it. An illusion well crafted due to how tightly fit the walls are and the use of invisible bridges. However, once you have reached the blue key pillar, almost the entire top floor lowers, and the room fills with zombies, imps, and revenants so seamlessly, I died the first time just in awe of how well crafted it all was. This is among my favorite encounters in the entire WAD. Zombied hosts 9 secrets. Some are easy to locate, but most are now a bit more tricky to discover. Near the start, you can jump down the middle pit to acquire an invisibility sphere, which comes in real handy against the zombie horde. Easy enough. Further, you will come across a lift that needs a hidden switch to lower. By now, you know what you should be looking for, and you should find a switch texture within a computer obscured by the darkness. Hit it for a soul sphere. A little bit more tricky. Alright, how about one more? Not too much further, you will enter this room with flesh exposed within the walls. A portion is just big enough for a Doom Guy-sized object. Leap over to it, and within, you will acquire another soul sphere, though I recommend saving it for reasons. There is, of course, a computer area map somewhere hidden within another of Fernito's favorite switch types. But I'll be honest, even after picking it up, it was still really difficult to find any secrets when the map has 31,615 line defs. Sheesh. This was the first map I had to open Doom Builder in order to locate the rest I couldn't discover on my own. So, with a name like Zombied, I'm sure it is no surprise, this map is occupied primarily by zombies. However, amongst the zombie horde is a gaggle of demons of varying danger levels. Mostly will be Hell Knights, Tomatoes, and Revenants, but there are a few Macubi, Arachnotrons, and even a solitary Baron to spice things up a little. Things haven't gotten too difficult still, but the few scenarios of overwhelming enemy counts can throw you for a loop if you're not careful. For this level, you will be readily supplied a shotgun at the start, followed by an SSG and chain gun, of which you will use exclusively. That is, unless you pay very close attention. See, one of the best kept secrets on the map will provide you with a rocket launcher, but only if you pay close attention to your surroundings and have a willingness for exploration. There is also a plasma gun that you can acquire right from the start, if you listen very closely after you pass a certain line def. And be careful, you only have one shot at getting it right. Funny though, the most difficult secret in the map is not tagged as one, but I don't want to spoil it here. Again, watch my playthrough once it drops if you'd like a guide. And to top it all off, Fernito displays his absolute mastery in songwriting with the track Going Down the Hard Way. And yes, that is a Lee Jackson Rise of the Triad reference. A groovy, high-octane metal track that embodies what it means to be a great MIDI. To start, there are a slew of really great tracks created throughout the Doom community that make for excellent music tracks, but sometimes not the best Doom tracks. For me, the best Doom tracks display an understanding of the loop. The flow never breaks, and you can't really tell where the track begins and ends in the midst of the action. Going Down the Hard Way is a gold example of this and matches well with the action. I hope to hear it used again outside of this WAD. This would fit right in with some of the best epic slaughter maps out there. One of my new all-time favorite Doom tracks. Please compose more MIDI, Fernito. I go back and forth on whether this map is my favorite of the WAD or the one that follows. The dense population of zombies, the frantic nature of the gunplay, the level flow, and that incredible MIDI. It is just very difficult not to love this map. If anything, it will be among my all-time favorite maps to return to. Zombied is a definite A for me if I bothered with a ranking system, but I'll leave the grading up to Mount Pain 27. I hope he doesn't miss this one. Now isn't this a tonal shift? Exiting the teleporter, you find yourself within a pitch-black cavern that soon opens up to reveal a sprawling underground industrial complex. Fernito's maps just continue to grow in size. With multiple pathways, you can find yourself easily lost inside. Caverns cloaked in darkness, haunted hallways, and treacherous pits await within this forsaken foundry. In terms of raw atmosphere, this certainly takes the top spot of the WAD. Feelings of isolation and abandonment certainly embrace the player from the start. A foundry once host to many, now devoid of all human life. The darkness now follows you seemingly around every corner, waiting to obscure your vision even more. I feel there is a lot I could say about this expertly crafted map, but to say anything may dispel much of the raw experience. As such, I highly encourage you at least play this map if you could only choose one from this WAD. Your first run will take you at least an hour to complete, and it is a joy from start to finish. Also, I just want to add that this has 51,690 line defs. That's 20,000 more than Zombied. Good lord. Thankfully, with a map of this size, Fernito doesn't pack it full of secrets. Only 5 await discovery. Depending on the path you take near the start, your first secret may take some time to reach. It will also require you risk taking damage in order to reveal it. Within this molten pit, you will soon find columns of flowing blood. Walk through and you may hear the sound of something opening from across the ledge. Shoot the now exposed eye and listen for the ground rising to the far right. Now high enough for you to leap across for a soul sphere and chainsaw. There is another secret soul sphere not far from here. You'll want to head up to this crane, then take a leap across to the rock ledge. Walk along it to this altar where a soul sphere will rise out. These plus the secret blue key door are the easiest to solve on the map, but the last two are certainly going to take more attention to find, especially the big one, as it will involve both your ears and agility to reveal its mystery. And better yet, if you are playing in co-op, you may find a little something extra hidden deep within as well. But of course, I encourage you to find these yourself. The demon occupation has beefed up a little in difficulty if the start wasn't proof enough. Now there is starting to be a balance between fodder and mid-tier enemies with revenants, tomatoes, mancubi, goat demons, and arachnotrons now around nearly every corner. You will also need to fend off a small handful of Archies spread out across the map. Forsaken Foundry will also test your skills in health and ammo management, as Fernito didn't place lots of items on the map. You will frequently run out of shells and bullets, only to find that one measly clip or shell batch to keep you going. You will survive, but you have to make most of your shots count. By the end of the map, supposing you are a secret hunter, you will have acquired all of the weapons, minus the BFG. To wrap this all together, the experience wouldn't be complete without a nice MIDI track to match the atmosphere. And Monster Condo Style does exactly that. While not being an ambient track, its slow, isolated guitar and what kinda sounds like a digital banshee screaming in the background makes for a great opening. It does eventually expand to more instrument layers, but never grows too far in scope. It stays grounded and spooky for the most part. I rank it somewhere in the middle of all the tracks of the SWAD. Forsaken Foundry is a showcase in detailed and expansive level design. I wouldn't at all be surprised if this was the map Fernito spent most of his time on. The way each section flows into the next is really impressive, and Fernito certainly deserves credit for the work on display here, especially considering he believes himself to be a lazy mapper, as evident within Ultimate Doom Builder. I do want to know, though, what is the purpose behind this massive room? There are a handful of line defs on one side, but nothing is actually placed in it. Which reminds me, I found interesting areas within Doom Builder across the entire WAD. Unused areas, switch panels, and more. I always enjoy stumbling across things like this. It's like a brief window into a creator's mind before they've scrapped an idea completely. I'll be looking into all of these in depth with each playthrough video I post, so keep an eye out for those. On my first playthrough, Toxin Catalysis threw me for a loop. The multiple corridors littering this acid-filled refinery can certainly leave you feeling a bit aimless if it weren't for these key markers to help guide you. A design tactic used also in Zombied. Throughout this map, you may find yourself in awe at the level detailing and structure on display. It's maps like these that really make me wonder how somebody could have constructed it. Tight hallways leading into intersections that take you into intricate acid pathways, which are intertwined throughout the entire facility. I just can't wrap my head around how somebody could have plotted this all out. Multiple floors, invisible bridges, and looping hallways are just the tip of the detailing iceberg. And for all of my slack-jawed praising, I still can't believe that he achieved this with 18,942 line defs, nearly half of zombied. For whatever reason, I just felt it had to be similar, but given this map's more angular design, it makes sense. However, this time Fernito really makes you work for 100% secrets. There are now 10, and some of these are pretty tricky to spot. A secret you can get early requires a switch and a keen eye. Flip this switch near the start of the map and look around in this cubby to reveal a much needed rocket launcher. Another, and one I once again had to open Doom Builder to find, is this eye you can only activate by standing on these small crates. Once you do, you'll have yourself a needed soul sphere. There are 8 other secrets for you to discover yourself. All I'll really say is make sure you have plenty of rad suits. At this point, you are now facing an even balance of fodder enemies and mid-tier demons. Encounters now are going to take a quick wit in order to survive, especially as some are in tight spaces with little room to dodge projectiles. There is now an area that will lock you in and completely fill up with demons. If you're not quick enough to dispatch a fair chunk of them from the start, you will find yourself quickly overwhelmed. This is one of the more lethal encounters of the WAD. Thankfully, Fernito has decided to grant you a bit more ammunition compared to Forsaken Foundry. It isn't limitless, but so long as you keep your shots accurate, you will be okay. And to accompany you through all the bloodshed and carnage plays Misleading Demeanor, a surprisingly catchy tune that somehow feels both strained and uplifting, as though to say that amid the demonic resistance, there is still hope of winning. This is my second favorite track of the WAD, just behind Going Down the Hard Way. Toxin Catalysis brings more of the aggression and still manages to showcase Fernito's ability to design intricately woven levels while also retaining great gameplay and atmosphere. This is another home run and must be played. After all the carnage and bloodshed, I think it's time for a little vacation. Uh-oh. Well, it is no surprise that even an oceanside resort run by the UAC is taken over by the demonic horde. But what a spectacle it is! With a lovely restaurant and a dock to tie off your boat, this resort must have been the place to be. Tear through red carpet hallways, the surrounding ocean view, then find yourself within a hellish room with the sigil eye enticing you to take a deep dive into the depths. Once again, I don't want to spoil too much of what lies within this lavish resort. A playthrough is definitely warranted by all of you watching. This map, however, does have some of the most difficult secrets of the WAD. And with 11 total, you'll almost certainly wander around a corpse-laden map trying to find that one last secret you can't find. Again, I needed to open up Doom Builder in order to find the ones I couldn't after 2 playthroughs. What I found were some obscure but not impossible secrets. I'll first reveal an easy one that I get near the beginning. Go up this exit lift, then hop over to the window for a much-needed backpack. Though this isn't the only one on the map, there is a backpack in another tougher secrets. But one that got me the first time was this waterside pillar with bars blocking the front. It wasn't until after my second playthrough did I realize walking past a certain line def in the loft area, only accessible by the blue key, do the bars lower. You may have also noticed this BFG locked away and out of your reach. There is a 3-step method to getting this, but I'll just have to encourage you to watch my playthrough to see how it's done, or try your best to figure it out. 463 monsters await you within the halls of Corrupt Paradise. Fernito now pits you against stronger foes more often than before. Around every corner you can expect to find demons thirsty for a bloody marrying by the water. While some encounters are definitely going to test your skills, I felt Toxin Catalysis was still just a bit more difficult overall in comparison. With some of the more open areas to wage war in, it allowed for more freedom of movement, making it easier to weave between projectiles. However, some of these areas are compact and can really rough you up if you aren't cautious. At the start, it is a good idea to not only grab the shotgun outside to the right, but to drop down and take the lift to immediately get an SSG as well. You are pretty much safe from then on. There's also a chain gun you can get if you take the hall atop the exit lift. Later on you will receive a rocket launcher, but to get both the plasma gun and BFG, you will need to kick your secret hunting skills into high gear. But what beachside paradise wouldn't be complete without an excellent MIDI track to go along with it? A Day at the Beach is a chill yet melancholic track, like a happy memory slowly washing away with the tide, never to return. A time when the sounds of laughter and a feeling of pure bliss seeped through the now haunted halls of this luxurious resort. Or something like that. A Day at the Beach is just one of those Doom tracks that somehow fits comfortably within all the violence. That emotional guitar solo is something to behold too. Another masterful work by Fernito. I've changed my mind. This is my second favorite track of the WAD. I only wish it were a little longer. UAC Resort is just another Marvel and Doom creation. Fernito up to this point blew me away 4 maps in a row. I really do think that Zombied, Forsaken Foundry, Toxin Catalysis, and UAC Resort are praiseworthy pieces of Doom level design in the modern era that deserve your attention. If all you want are the big highlights of this WAD, I encourage you to play these 4 maps back to back. And here we are. Hell! Eqvilateral with a cult bay! It's a high-action map that acts as a boss level of sorts. Throughout the WAD, you never encounter the Cyber Demon, but here 2 of them make an appearance. Situated atop a 3-pronged hub, you battle high numbers of demons, all while conducting a sort of tightrope act lest you fall into the acid below. Each key switch exposes more of your surroundings, as well as adding more fuel to the demon fire. And don't think about hunting down any secrets. There are none to discover. However, do keep an eye out on that BFG at the far end. It will eventually lower, but wait till you can grab a rad suit. Otherwise, you will be taking damage all the way out there and back. This is a classic kill 'em all scenario inside a massive arena. Arachnotrons and Mancubi will try to take you out from afar, while Revenants, Goats, and Archies attempt to pick you off atop the ledge. In the acid are hordes of demons led by the Cyber Demons, waiting to make your life a living hell. Or maybe not, depending on how many demons the Cybes entice to an infight match. You aren't granted all of your guns so easily though. You will have to work at upgrading your arsenal. Starting with a shotgun, each key you retrieve will lower another column to allow access to a new weapon. Eventually, you will have everything except the BFG, of which you will have to run out and get like I've mentioned. And Fernito provides yet another banger of a track with UKT, a thrashy metal track to help get the demon-killing blood pumping. Excellent rhythm, catchy grooves, and yet another well-crafted solo performance alongside an unhinged demon massacre. UKT is yet another one of those Fernito tracks that would go well with an epic slaughter map. Well done, Fernito. I suppose I should also mention that in the credits, Enzo Cabrera is credited for helping with the solos on the metal tracks. So I tip my helmet to you as well, sir. Overall, Eqvilateral is a great way to pump some adrenaline fuel into the veins of any doomer. I don't love it as much as the last 4 maps, but it is a lot of fun from start to finish. So, with this shakeup in the level roster, I wonder what's next. What? That's it? Unfortunately, yes, it is. Boomer Beyond Vanilla, as it currently stands, is a classic shareware release of a larger game that hasn't been announced yet. Hence why it's only 9 maps. Oh, and that 9th map is just a complete copy of this one called Demo. I don't know why. This is definitely bringing back Paradise vibes all over again. Both WADs end with a to-be-continued map that you can run around in, but there isn't really anything to find. Well, that is except a backpack, a chain gun and some ammo, and a non-secret BFG. But nothing to use them on. They just seem to be there for anybody willing to explore. However, if you were going to go out on a to-be-continued map, then a gorgeously detailed one like this certainly is the way to do it. And there you have it. Boomer Beyond Vanilla. A 9-map WAD I just spent 40 minutes gushing over. But this is one of my favorite WADs I've played in recent memory. Yeah, myhouse.wad took the internet by storm this year, and I do absolutely love it. But Boomer is pure Doom shoot action. Currently, it has been mentioned enough times in the 2023 Cacoward's forum post that I'm sure it will at least get a glowing nomination for a Cacoward this year. Although, if I may be so bold, I think it absolutely earns its place in this year's award ceremony. Fernito, I applaud you for the dedicated hard work you put into this, and it only being 7 full maps does not detract from the excellent experience Boomer Beyond Vanilla provides. It only makes me want even more. Thank you all so very much for watching. I just want to take a moment and say I am absolutely floored at the reception of my Voxel Doom 2 video I posted 2 weeks ago. At the time of recording this, it is just shy of 80,000 views. I had only around 300 subscribers when I posted it, and now I have 1,125. Thank you. Thank you so much. I am really happy that you have found enjoyment in what I do. And because of that, I will focus more time and attention towards getting more content out more consistently. I don't know if I will make more 40-minute long reviews of WADs. This one took me far longer to finish than I anticipated it would. But I just need to better streamline the production process. Alright everyone, as always, if you have anything to say about Boomer Beyond Vanilla, maybe a nice comment for Fernito, please leave it in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe as well if you like what you see and want even more. Maybe suggest some other WADs you'd like to see me cover. Links to everything will be down below. Thank you, and I will see all of you again real soon. Bye.